Hey guys, what's up? Rulk here. Got a lot of things to talk to you about today. We had some big news dropped on us from Kabam. Um, we got Uncollected Arena Crystal launched today on the 16th of August. We also got the Uncollected Free Crystal. That's the 4 hour one that you get for free every 4 hours with its updates. And we also got an announcement about a Grandmaster Crystal. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. And the big one here is 6-star champions are coming to the game. Huge news. Um, some people are surprised, some people aren't. Personally, I had a feeling that this was going to be coming. Um, just a hunch I had. Just the way that everything was progressing with how they're making 5-star characters more available. They're adding more 5-star characters all the time now to the basic crystal. You know, the refinement of that. They increased the rewards of the event quest this month, the Sinister Foes, to include a lot more 5-star shards, as well as the calendar. The calendar is giving you, for the monthly calendar, is giving you 5,000 5-star shards for just logging in every day of the month. That's pretty huge. As well as they've also increased the amount of 4-star shards. So it's been kind of a thing, long coming thing that they've been progressing towards making the 4 stars and the 5 stars far more available, especially to top level players. I mean, you guys that are still starting out, you're still going to see that progression that you need to do, working your way up to your 2-star and 3-star. Um, but it's just a logical progression. It's, you know, they have to have something to keep the game fresh and open up a whole new you know aspect to it to keep driving those end game players further and further, so they're not running out of content to hit and stuff to do. And then also we'll talk a little bit about kind of what does this mean for 3-star characters and 4-star characters. What should I do with them? And things like that. So let's jump right in. I got the forums open here. So first of all, we're going to talk about the new Grandmaster Crystal and Uncollected 14-day calendar. So Adora here posted this announcement about some changes. We're missing a link there, but so they introduced this Uncollected free crystal, which basically I think it just replaced some of like the revives that were in there. So instead of like and the potions, so like instead of level 1 stuff, now you've got level 2 and level 3 stuff to give you a little bit better items that you can get out of those. It's nice. I think it's a great addition. You can get these every 4 hours. Personally, I'm gonna collect a whole lot of these. I'm gonna save them all up and pop them, like in batches of 50 or 30, and just see what I get. So then you guys can get a good idea of what those look like. But that's good, and it's also, I think, it's supposed to be given a little bit more gold. And again, these rewards for the Uncollected, they're only for if you've beaten the Collector in Act 5.2. Sorry, I should say spoiler alert. Um, you got to beat the Collector in Act 5.2, and I believe you have to be above level 40. I think is what they said. So if you have those two things, you don't have to have the title of Uncollected active. You can have whatever title you want. You just need to have gotten that gained that Grandmaster's favor. Okay, and then you can start reaping these things in. They also a couple weeks ago they introduced the Grandmaster Daily Crystal, which is really nice. It's given a lot more T4 class catalyst fragments, as well as Tier 4 basic catalyst fragments, and a rare chance now at 4-star characters out of it. So instead of getting 1-star characters out of the daily and a potential like 2 or 3-star, now you have a chance of getting a 4-star character right out of the daily crystal, a whole 4-star character. So again, this is the progression of them moving more towards making these 4-star characters more available. So they did that, and then a new 14-day calendar. Okay, so there is now going to be a new 14-day calendar for any uncollected summoners. We'll soon see in their 7-day calendars replaced with a new 14-day calendar. So instead of working towards a premium hero crystal where you're getting, so if you log in every single day for a week right now, through the weekly login daily calendar, you will gain 2,000 shards, enough to form an entire premium hero crystal. Now, premium hero crystals are something that's needed updated for especially the high end and the end game level players for quite some time. They've really kind of gotten outdated, even with the introduction of 5-star characters into the game. because pretty much all you're ever going to get from those premium hero crystals is going to be a 2-star character. Um, like I want to say like 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, it's going to be a 2-star character. Which once you get to the point where you have a decent 4-star roster of like 330 champions that are 4 stars or 440s, enough to do 440 4-star champions for all the modes. I mean, Alliance Quest, Alliance War, and then not have enough for questing as well. You really, I don't touch the 2 stars at all anymore, especially since they changed the arenas around in this recent history, and the 2 stars just don't really have a good place to get any decent rewards. So they're there, but it's just not enough, and it's very rare to get a 4-star character out of those premium hero crystals. Not impossible. I've gotten several actually out of those, but I mean that's out of many hundreds, if not thousands, of premium hero crystals that I've opened over time. So it's not a lot. I mean, you have a decent chance getting 3 stars out of them now, but what they're going to be doing here is this Grandmaster Crystal, as you see here. So now your calendar is going to change, so it's going to be a 2-week calendar, 14 days, and you'll be working towards getting enough shards to make a Grandmaster Crystal, which is going live on August 30th, and its crystal is an upgraded version of Premium Hero Crystal. For summoners that have made it far enough in the contest, this evolution just makes sense, as they say, and gives you a chance at better champions. So it will contain 3-star champions with a rare chance at 4-star and 5-star champions. So I'm imagining this is going to be kind of like, if we look at like I said, the Premium Hero Crystal currently, mostly you're going to get 2 stars. That's a guarantee. I'm guessing that with this one, you're gonna be guaranteed a 3-star. That's what they're saying, and I think you're probably gonna get 3-star characters probably 90% of the time as well. With that, mild chance, kind of like it was kind of uncommon to get a 3-star, but it happened every now and then from those. I think that's going to be replaced with 4-star characters, that you're going to see those a little more often. And then those rare chances, like when pulling a 4-star character from a premium hero crystal, I think you're going to be replaced with getting 5-star characters, which is amazing because the 5-star characters, I mean, it's so many shards to build up to get one of those. But they are making those more available. So also, if you want to buy a Grandmaster Crystal, they will be 200 units instead of the Premium Hero Crystal, which was 100 units. So double the cost, guarantees you at least a 3-star character, and then you get the chances for a 4 and a possible 5-star, and can be obtained via the new 14-day calendar for the Uncollected Summoners. So I think it's a pretty good change. I definitely think it's time they retooled that. I'm excited to see this. It fits right in line with this new progression that they're doing about moving to 6-star champions. So I think it's a good one. And again, that's only going to change that calendar if you are an uncollected summoner. In the future, we'll be releasing featured Grandmaster crystals. More information on this will come closer to the actual release. So this is interesting. So they're saying in the future we'll also be releasing a new featured Grandmaster crystal. I'm assuming that that's something like, I don't know, kind of like the way that the 5-star featured character hero crystals work, where I think it's like about a 20% chance of getting the actual featured character in at the time that you're getting that. So I'm guessing that it's going to be probably the same thing where you're like guaranteed a 3-star, but you could get a 4 or a very rare chance at a 5. But it's probably going to be heavily focused with higher odds towards the latest released featured character, and then probably give you some pretty decent odds at the sub-featured class as well, with the fallback on anything in the basic pool. So that'll be interesting, but we'll see how we get more information as that comes along. So what else is changing? So when you dupe a 5-star, starting August 30th, what you're going to get is you're going to now get 6-star shards, okay? 6-star champion shards are going to be what you're going to get, and I think it says you're going to be getting 275 of them. If I read, I don't think it's on here, but I think it's on the other one. We'll get to that. But You can start collecting these as of August 30th, but we'll go over to the next post here now. So, come on. 6-star champions are coming to the contest. Okay. Um, yeah, so if you dupe a 5-star character now, you're going to get 275 shards towards 6-star shards. And you can start collecting those as of August 30th, once the next update rolls out for the game. However, you will not actually be able to cash those in, is what they're saying, until probably early 2018, where those 6-star characters will finally be playable. So let's dive into this. So they're just announcing that we're doing 6-star characters. Why are they doing them? It's just kind of the natural progression of the game, is what they're citing. They need to, like I said, put in more content for these endgame players, for these higher level caliber players, to keep progressing. So that, because I know there's a lot of people out there, these endgame players, these these great YouTubers like Seaton and Dork Lessons and stuff like that, and Contest Champion Brian Grant, just to name a few. I mean, these guys have like reached the end. They've done every mode that is in there. Especially Seaton. He just finished up Labyrinth of Legends 100%. He literally has nothing more to complete in the game, so he's going back and he's starting a new account. This is a way of giving those high-end players something new to shoot for. It's basically just setting the bar a whole notch higher, but it's like every time they add a tier of characters, so like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 is going to be way up there on the ceiling, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like an exponential climb of the tiers that they do. So I think this is cool. I think it is. I agree. It's a natural progression of the game, and they got a lot of exciting things. So this is going to give them a lot more ability to have more difficult, stronger characters in the game, and hopefully that means that they don't have to come up with these nodes that are just like complete pain in the ass nodes, if you know what I mean, like Thorns, and stuff like that, or Masochism and Buffet that are in Act 5. I mean, those things are kind of a pain in the ass. Caltrops, I mean, that sucks. It's just not a fun game mechanic. And there's ways around it, but you got to have the right roster, and you have to play it right. But some things that they come up with in these nodes to make the content more challenging for the higher caliber players is just not very interactive and fun. But I understand what they got to do. They have to try to keep making this a challenge. It's just sometimes those things go in the form of things that don't add value to the game for the player base and make it fun and enjoyable. So I think that a 6-star release is a very healthy way to help boost up that problem, to kind of solve that, to give them some tougher characters to put into the game. And now they'll have, a little bit of a different dynamic with a new feature that we'll talk about, that you'll have to be aware of, that's just kind of built into them being a 6-star. So I think that they can use that to make harder content that's more challenging, that's going to push you towards wanting to grow your roster, get more 5-star characters, and then eventually get to 6-star characters, so that you can have something to do in the game. So you can have something to keep growing and keep challenging yourself with. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and I am excited to see where this is going to come, what this is going to come to. So the timeline of the release here, they're talking about 6-star shards will be coming from duping them. We already talked about that. So they expect 6 stars will become playable within the contest in early 2018, but you will start seeing them in action in mid to late fall, where you faced off against them in some of our new quest content first. Now, they have said that I've heard some mentions that they're going to put these into the event quest on like the harder modes. Like, I don't know if that means they're going to retool master difficulty on the event quest, and they're going to bump that up on its difficulty level by putting 6-star characters in. I don't think that's a good idea. I think what they should do, if they want to do this, I think that the smart thing would be to add another difficulty level, and possibly consider unlocking master difficulty so you don't have to 100% heroic to get it. Because if you're an endgame player, if you're a high caliber player, there's no challenge or reward or fun in doing the heroic version of the event quest. I mean, most people I know, including myself, usually just hit auto fight to get through heroic, and because your character's so strong that it doesn't matter, your roster's so stacked up, and that's not super fun. You know, it's not super challenging. You want to get to the stuff that's challenging, that's going to give you higher rewards and whatnot, and focus on that instead of burning tons and tons of energy on things that are just a stepping stone to get to where you really want to be. So I think what they should do if they're going to introduce these 6-star characters into the event quest is they should unlock master mode right off the bat for anybody who wants to play it. Okay, um, if they want to keep it so that you have to 100% master difficulty before unlocking, let's call it, I don't know, insane mode, something like that, you know, extreme mode, whatever. Let's call it insane mode. So they add another difficulty is insane mode. You know, okay, so you got to play through 100% of heroic, and then you'll unlock insane mode. That's a good way to do it, just like we have between heroic and master now, and that way you can put those 6 stars and those far more challenging content into another difficulty, because the current difficulty range is really geared towards being able to do master mode with like some maxed out 4-star characters. You can do it easily with 440 4-star characters or maxed out 4-star characters. Okay, the one below that with normal difficulty is kind of really geared towards the 3-star characters, you know, having a decent healthy roster of 3-star characters. The basic one below that is based on a healthy roster of 2 stars. So you see the progression here. So I think if they're going to add 6 stars to this event quest, they need to add another one where it's really based on like 5-star characters. Okay, so because they want to start making 5-star characters far more available to everybody in the game through various means, I think that they should add another mode that gives you, maybe it rewards you with a small portion of 6-star shards, and you get a significant chunk of 5-star shards. You know, kind of growing that progression. I think this is a really healthy idea. So maybe if Adora or Kabe and Mike see my video, hope you guys do. Maybe you guys could suggest this. I think it could work out really well in the long run for everybody, and while making it fair without, you know, kind of punishing the players at the base that they are at currently. Because if I'm used to defeating master mode right now, and you're going to step that difficulty up, that really kind of sucks. I realize it's the push to drive and keep growing in the game, growing my skill set and growing my roster, but it sucks to if I have to step back on the rewards that I'm already used to, because that's going to make my progression a lot slower. You know, it's stepping backwards where we really need to be stepping forwards. Okay, so I hope that they do that right, and obviously you're going to start seeing 6-star characters at the end of Act 5. I think they did say that. But they did say that you're not going to see them in Act 5.3. No 6-star characters there. So we at least have that. But I'm very much willing to bet that Act 5.4 is going to be littered with 6-star characters. So they're going to talk a little bit here about the longer heads up than normal. I think this is great. I really commend Kabam for doing this. In the past, with prime example of version 12.0, they did not do a very good job of, discussing with the community, with us, the player base, the summoners, about these major changes that they did to the game. They just went ahead and did them, and it made people really upset because we didn't get enough information and we didn't understand why these things were done, and we didn't feel like they helped the game, become any better, or they didn't add any value to it. It actually just made it worse. It made it feel not fun. It made it feel like you were being cheated or punished for having good skills, and that didn't go over well. And I think they really learned their lesson with the giant boycott that happened after 12.0, that hey, we have a very strong and passionate community, and we need to inform them more, and we need to work with them rather than just pushing updates and content on them and then seeing how it happens. So being more proactive rather than reactive. I think they've opened their ears. I think they're listening a lot more. So I will encourage you guys, if you have feedback for Kabam, please do it in an encouraging and positive way. I mean, there's no reason we can't be professional. It is a great game. It really is, despite whatever complaints you may have about it. At the end of the day, still play it, and it is a good game. I mean, everything's got its faults and its flaws, and these guys are human too at Kabam. They do a fantastic job, and they're really trying, and they're showing that they're trying to improve. So give them a little slack, okay? So be nice, make your constructive criticisms and your requests or your suggestions in a very positive way that makes sense, okay? And understand these guys are human. And the moderators, Adora, Bam Mike, and the other guys, they're on our side, okay? So, be nice to them and give them the benefit of the doubt. But here they're very much intentionally calling out that they're giving us a very big heads up. And they're going to continually keep working and communicating with players, and this is something that they're communicating to us that this is important, and they're going to keep doing this. I mean, this is what it's August right now, and we're not going to see playable 6 stars until early 2018. So even if it's the very first beginning of 2018, what is that? That's September, October, November, December. That's 4 months, 4 solid months yet to go, like 4.5 months. And then if it's a little ways into 2018, which I suspect it won't be exactly immediately 2018, but it could be. But let's say, it happens in February or March. I mean, this is like half a year, before we're actually going to see these as playable characters. So, I commend them for this. I think it's a good move. I think it's a solid move, and they're going to, get rid of a lot of hassle and headache. And they're going to get a lot of good suggestions from the community, ahead of time of how to best do this. And hopefully they'll listen to that and they'll take that into account. And they have time to, retool things in that sort of direction. So obtaining 6-star champions. So here's what we want to know. How am I going to get 6-star champions? So they are going to be the most powerful champions in the game. They're new most powerful champions in the game. But so they'll also be difficult to obtain, much like the 5-star characters were before. So they are going to be the way to get them right now. 6 stars can be obtained by earning shards when you dupe 5 stars. You get 275 6-star shards each time, and you'll need 10,000 to purchase a 6-star hero crystal when it is eventually released. For the immediate future, this will be the only way to obtain 6 stars, but we do have plans to eventually include small amounts of 6-star shards as rewards in some in-game events as well. And later in this post, they discuss some more questions and answers, FAQs type stuff. So that's going to be the only way to get them right now, is duping 5 stars. So we'll get to this a little bit later. We'll talk about the progression of what should you be doing. Any 5-star champions that are duped from August 30th onward will receive 6-star shards as a result. They will not be granting 6-star shards to any previously duped 5 stars. Okay, so don't go to them crying about it and saying, "Oh, this isn't fair. I opened up a 5-star and duped them on August 29th, and I deserve my shards. I need my shards. You guys are ripping me off." Don't be like that. Okay, they've given us plenty of heads up that it's not retroactive. Okay, so it's only going to count for August 30th and onward. So when that update comes out on August 30th, at that point onwards, anytime you dupe a 5-star, you're going to be getting those shards. Okay, so just be real, and that's just what it is for now. More stuff I'm sure will come in the future, and we'll see those in event rewards, like they said, and like we talked about earlier. I think we'll see them pop up. Okay, 6-star champion and the featured hero arenas. So obviously this is going to shake up arenas a bit, because currently we have the 2-star arena that is only 2-star characters, I think, only, and Summoner Trials or whatever it is, and then they have the 3-star featured arena, which you can use 2 and 3-star characters for that. Then they have the basic 4-star, which you can use 4-star characters and 3-star characters. And then there's the featured 4-star character arena, where you can use only 4 and 5-star characters. So obviously, as we add in 6-star champions, where are they going to fit in? How is that going to fit in? So here they're saying, upon the release, 6-star champions will not be usable in featured hero arenas, okay, because like I said, we have limitations that are currently set. While this will change in time, similar to the release pattern of 5-star champions, our goal is to ensure that players are not suddenly finding themselves competing against stacked odds. Once 6 stars are usable in the arenas, it will be an entirely new arena. We don't have a current estimation of when this will roll out, but we'll share more details on that once 6 stars have become playable in game. So what I suspect is that I would think that they would add yet another arena, and I would like to see that arena be a maybe like a basic and a featured 5 star arena. I think that could be pretty cool, especially because they're pushing towards making now the 5 stars like what the 4 stars used to be. You know, like if we look at our current state of the game, you know, 4 stars are really what you want. I mean, you want to max out 4 stars because they're very powerful. They're not the most powerful, but they can with skill plus high ranked 4 stars and a good roster. It'll take you through most of the content, if not all of it, with the game. I don't have any 5 star characters that are above rank 2, and I don't use them for anything other than arena grinding for points in like tier 4 basic arena. So my main team is all 4 star characters that I do have a full team that is maxed out. 550 4 star characters, and that is what I use to become Uncollected. I beat one single run through Act 5.1 and 5.2 using maxed 4 star characters. So don't count them out yet, okay? 4 star characters are still going to be useful, but if we look at the progression of what we have now, 4 stars are still kind of sought after. I mean, they've got 2 arenas running all the time that are giving you 4 star characters, one featured, one basic. I think that the shift is going to move. I think we're going to see the 2 star one stay what it is, because that's a good one for new beginning progressing players. I think the 3 star one is good at 2 and 3 star characters to try to win those 3 star featured characters. So I don't think that one's going to change, but I do see possibly, them shifting to maybe doing a 4 star featured character only, or maybe they'll do a basic, and then adding in a basic and featured 5 star arena, where like maybe the basic 5 star arena would be only 4 and 5 star characters, much like the featured 4 star character arena is now. They just would be a featured 5 star instead. That would be a cool idea. And then for the featured 5 star arena, you could do that with just 5 and 6 star characters, so that you can win the featured 5 star character. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I can see that being a plausible option. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think it would give a lot of good options for various levels of progression, because we need all those from beginning to from the low levels up to the top, from 2 star to 3 star, all the way down to the 6 star. I think they need to do that so we don't lose focus on the beginning players, but we need to help give some more options for higher caliber and end game players to be able to continue building that roster, because basically we're getting our set back a bit. Like it was when all you had was 3 stars, and you worked on getting a team of maxed out 3 stars, and you're just hungry and itching to get any 4 star character you could. So, but it's interesting. It definitely gives you a lot more to work on and progress through the game. So 5 star champions, more accessible, more rank up opportunities. So they're saying that they're going to change up the rank up cost for 5 star characters to get from rank 4 to rank 5, which would be a max 5 star character. Currently, it's impossible to get a rank 5 maxed 5 star character, because they have not introduced tier 5 basic catalysts, generic catalysts. You need those in order to do that, and they have not put them in the game, so nobody has that. So I find it a little weird that they're saying, touting us like, oh, we're going to retool, we're going to make it easier to rank up 5 stars. Well, currently you can't do it, so basically you just put in a placeholder number that says, it takes 4 tier 5 basic catalysts to rank them to rank 5, but you can't have them yet, so that's just what you have to do in the future. And now they're backing that off down to 2. Then I imagine like the progression between a 4 star character rank up and a 5 star character rank up, it's going to take significantly more like tier 4 basic maybe to get from rank 1 to 2. Like maybe it'll take 5 tier 4 basic to get from rank 1 to 2 on a 6 star, and then you'll have to get tier 5 basic catalyst from there, to just go up to rank 2 to 3, and then maybe you'll have to do like 5 of them, or 4 of them to go from rank 3 to 4, etc. I don't know how high the ranks of 6-star characters are going to go, but I imagine it's going to be insane, and I'm sure it's going to take a ton of resources. But they're going to be making 5-star characters far more available, and they already have, like we discussed this. I mean, you're getting 5-star character shards from the monthly calendar. You're getting even more now from the event quests. When they retooled the arenas recently, they added a lot more 5-star shard opportunities there. I think, honestly, if they're going to make this change, I think they need to consider retooling that again and adding even more 5-star shards to like the lower brackets, not just the what is it, the 11 to 20%. I think they need to add a little bit, just a little bit, to the lower brackets as well. But it all depends on how they're going to retool those arenas, like we talked about. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. Nothing we can do about that. And then they're talking about, the changes they've done also with the daily crystal for the Uncollected. It's given a lot more tier 4 class catalysts as well as tier 4 basics. Tier 4 basics are highly available nowadays, as opposed to even 6-9 months ago. If we go a year back, I mean, they were like nearly impossible to get. I mean, progressing from the 3-star range up to a significant 4-star roster was very difficult because you couldn't get them. Now they're everywhere. I mean, if you've got a decent roster of even 330 4-star characters, and you're playing the event quests monthly, you're logging in and getting your tier 4 basics from the monthly calendar, which is usually at least one in there, or enough to fragments to form one, or farming the advanced proving grounds. There's ways that you can get those now, and you can move through that 4-star progression and get your 4-star roster solid, and you can get a solid start at the 5-star roster by getting at least to rank 2, right? And the difficult one now is the tier 4 class catalyst, but like they said, they are making those far more available through the Uncollected Daily Crystal. The Glory Store was a great addition to that they've given you the opportunity to buy those in significant chunks. I still think they need to retool the cost on the Greater Glory Crystals a little bit. It just does not make any sense to me. I realize that you're getting a larger chunk of one type of class of catalysts versus, if you're getting the regular Glory Crystals, could be different classes, but the same, you can get the same amount of fragments for less glory, but it's possibly multiple classes, so you're not being as efficient in getting, large chunks of one class. But it's still random class, so I don't think it really makes much difference. So I think they can retool that a little bit, but I do like that they added that, and they're trying, to bring some more stuff in here. So let's move right along. So they got a little Q&A here. So how many crystal shards will you need to get a 6-star? You're going to need 10,000, so it's much like the 5-star basic. How many 6-star shards will you get for duping a 5-star? 275. We already talked about that. Will only paying players get 6 stars? So this is a lot of things that a lot of people are complaining about and in the community and saying, oh, they're just going to make them only available if we pay for them, if we buy them and spend real money. Well, they're saying that they don't have any intentions of doing that. I honestly believe this. I think that they do have good intentions with what they're doing, and I don't think they're out to screw anybody. But they are to make money. I mean, they want to make money, so you're going to have to play hard content. And if you're trying to really push beyond your boundaries, and you might need to, pay for some of that. I always hate it, like I said, when they do some things that are just really annoying. That despite any level of skill, you're going to get kind of screwed no matter what you do. That I don't like and I don't agree with, but for the most part, you're going to need to play really well to get these. And I hope they put some good challenging modes in here that just keep stepping up that game, that level, and keep growing in the dynamics of the game and what you have to do in the strategy to defeat those modes and obtain these rare shards. So I think that's pretty cool. So I duped my 5-star before this announcement. Can I get shards? No, we already talked about that. When will we see the first shards in game? And so they're saying October. We're going to see the first 6 stars in game. I'm guessing it sounds like it's probably going to be an event quest. I really, like I said, I hope that they retool that and add another difficulty before that, because I feel it's unfair to current players who count on clearing Master and getting those rewards, unless they're gonna really water down those 6-star characters. But still, I mean, with challenge rating in there, I feel like you're gonna feel it really hard, and it's not gonna be fun. But we'll see. But so they're saying October. I doubt. They did say that you're not going to see them. Somewhere I saw that they said you're not going to see them in Act 5.3, and so I doubt they'll have Act 5.4 out by October, because it's right around the corner. They're really slow on this release schedule. Um, so I think it's definitely going to be some sort of event quest of some sort. So when will Six Stars be playable? That's, like I said, early 2018. That could be anywhere from probably January to March would be considered early 2018. Until then, you can collect the shards. Will there be featured 6-stars? Okay, so what are we doing about featured 6-stars? So when 6-stars are first playable, there will only be a base group of 24 champions. They're not telling us who, but there will be a base group of 24. Once we get closer to the actual release, we will be able to share more details on the future of featured 6-star champions. So I'm sure they'll introduce something along the lines like the 5-star, where you get 15,000 shards, and you could go for a featured 6-star. Or maybe they'll make it 20,000. I hope not. I don't know. But we'll see what it goes with. But they're going to do something, it sounds like. They just don't know yet quite what, because it's just so early yet. So what about Alliance Wars and Alliance Quests? This is a very big question. What is this going to mean for Alliance Wars and Alliance Quests? You're going to take that top end bracket, and now it's going to go even higher yet, which at the same time could also take less serious alliances, or more casual alliances. I don't want to say less serious, because we're still serious. There's still a lot of serious alliances out there, but just want to play more casually. They don't want to be whales, if you will, that are just dropping major time and resources, money, whatever, onto the game in order to get there. And I don't want to see players who have worked hard to get to where they're at. I don't want to see them get punished and get bumped down because of it. So I think same thing. I think we need to think about the progression of this, and especially for Alliance Quest, to think of yet again maybe retooling that bracket like they did this season for Season 4. I think they did a great thing with Season 4, recognizing that there's a lot of good high-skilled alliances. There's not enough room at the top to really reward them with accurate stuff, so they increased the size of the bracket and the rewards given. I think that's great. I think, but if we're going to do this, we're going to drop 6-star characters in the game. I think we need to see Alliance Quest Season 5, and I think that needs a new bracket system that have much larger brackets at the top, because they're doing all these changes with anticipation that their player base is growing and their skill set is growing significantly. And so there's more skilled players all the time in the contest, and they need a home. And you don't want them to feel left out. You certainly don't want anybody who has gained a significant level of skill with like 4 and 5-star characters to feel like they have dropped down and now are getting less rewards just because we've added another tier of difficulty and champions above them, so that they have now moved down. That's not a good progression. So I really would hope that Kabam can work hard to avoid that situation. And Alliance Wars, honestly, in my opinion, Alliance Wars are in a sad state as it is. There's a handful of really obnoxious, annoying characters that get used, and that's basically all you see on the maps. And it's not a fun game mechanic, in my personal opinion. I do not enjoy Alliance Wars, other than I just do them because it's shards either way. It's 5 and 4-star character shards, win or lose. And I try my best, and basically the way I see it right now, this is the only thing you really can do to be successful on Alliance War offense, is bring a whole team that has defensive ability reduction, because that is all that tends to get stacked on the other side. Like 95% of what's over there is all defensive ability triggers, or the nodes give them a defensive ability trigger, like Thorns or Evade or Regen or Limbo, or all this crap that is just not fun game mechanics, that it's hard to avoid, and you really can only bring certain champions to eliminate those, and you can't use anyone. I'd like to see Alliance Wars change into a state where you can use any character. Okay, it doesn't have to just be Elektra and Black Widow and Crossbones and whatever, the ones that have the defensive ability reduction, that, or Falcon is another one I bring along a lot of times. Like, I find myself just bringing these characters just because I know that's all I'm gonna end up facing off against, and you know what? I'm not let down much on that. It's pretty accurate. I mean, who knows as they add new champions what kind of stuff's going to happen, but I think the same trend's going to keep happening. You're just going to get a lot of annoying crap that is just no fun. So I think they really need to retool that regardless, but then if we start adding in 6-star characters, yeah, I think we really need to retool that, because a lot of these nodes in the higher tiers, they give ridiculous boosts to attack and to health, and now if you're stepping up even into a higher level of a 6-star character, I think if we're going to exponentially scale that health and attack of those versus like a 5-star, I mean, holy shit. I mean, how are you expected to take that down? I mean, now everybody who's got these rosters of 4-star characters are suddenly we're gonna have this discrepancy where you're bringing in, here's where we are at now, right, with your 4 and 5-star character rosters, and now you're going to bring in 6-star characters, and people are going to pay and do everything they possibly can to get those. You're going to raise the bar, but basically you're going to shift everybody down. Is what's going to happen. So you're going to end up punishing people who have built up really good skills and rosters as it is right now, and they're going to end up getting less rewards from it. So I hope that doesn't happen. Need to address something to make a home for everybody, so that the current player base, the current skill set, doesn't lose out, so that they at least stay the same. And then if they choose to put more energy and effort into the game and grow from there and increase their 5-star roster or their 6-star roster, then there's opportunity for better rewards. So I don't want to see anybody drop down just because they're still where have been at. 5-stars had a new game mechanic that helped them make them unique and more interesting. Well, 6-stars as well. So if you're unfamiliar, 5-star characters actually have an extra feature where when you trigger a level 3, it gives you this like little mini game thing where there's like a bar right here on the screen, and it sort of pauses the animation for just a second, and it gives you the slider that goes this way. It goes from the start to finish over across the thing, and you have to tap the screen to stop it right on the green zone, the sweet spot in the middle, or the yellow zone past it. Green zone will give you plus 20% damage on that level 3 special, and the yellow zone will give you plus 12% damage, I think, on that level 3 special, and anywhere outside before or after those gives you no bonus. So it's a nice way to potentially do a even more significant amount of damage on top of the already boosted damage output of a 5-star character as it is. And then the same thing goes for when you're defending against a level 3 special from any character. It could be a 3-star, a 4, a 5-star, or whatever. When they trigger their level 3 special, you also get the same mini game thing that comes up on the bottom with the slider, but this time instead of damage bonus, you're trying to shoot for a damage reduction. So if you hit the sweet spot, it's minus 20% damage. If you hit the yellow spot, it's minus 12% damage. So that was a really cool mechanic. I was excited to see that when I got my first 5-star. I had no idea that was in there, and I thought that was a really cool thing. So 6-stars are going to have their own unique thing. I would assume that they would also have the 5-star capability as well. I would assume that, but I don't know. So 6-stars, yes, 6-stars will come with a new combat mechanic called Adrenaline. This will activate after a 6-star has been struck by an enemy and give players a chance to hit their opponent's back in order to reobtain some of the health they have lost. We'll have more specific details regarding this exciting new mechanic much closer to release. So if I'm reading this, this sounds like a horrible thing for offensive play. Like, you don't want to get hit, like, ever. Okay, because there's no such thing as getting hit once. When you're playing these high-level game content that they put out, you open yourself to get hit, you're going to take a whole 5-hit combo. And that's going to take a significant portion of your life. So doing that and then striking them back to order to gain back a small portion of the health doesn't sound like something you would ever intentionally do. So for that reason, on an offensive purpose, I don't like this sound of this mechanic. It sounds kind of pointless. I mean, maybe if you accidentally screw up and you get hit, or there's some unavoidable thing because of a really crappy built node that you have to take a damage or have to get hit, then okay. But really, it sounds like this is just to make Alliance War defense even more of a pain in the ass than it already is. I mean, people get settled to these 6-star characters, and then they've got this adrenaline ability that's gonna, give them a chance to regen. Basically, after they've been struck, I think it's just gonna make Alliance War defense even less fun. I mean, it just doesn't sound like a fun game mechanic to overcome unless they're gonna, give us some way to get around it, to bypass it. But there again, it sounds to me like it's going to be defensive ability triggers that are going to bypass it. But I don't know. I'm not sure how that one's going to play out, but I don't immediately love the sound of it, if I'm honest. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and wait until we hear more information about it. So how strong are 6 stars compared to 5 stars? So we're still actively tuning them and are committed to getting them just right. So players can expect them to be a step up from 5 stars in the same way that 5 stars are a step up from 4 stars. So same natural progression, 3 star to 4 star and 4 star to 5 star. Basically it's like a rank 2 or 3 of the lower tier is equivalent, or of the higher tier is equivalent to a max version of the next lowest tier. I expect we'll see the same thing. So like a max 5-star character will probably be the equivalent of a rank 3 or rank 2 6-star character. Probably a rank 3 6-star character. But we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. So will 5 stars now be easier to obtain? Yes, and we've already covered this. So we get a lot more shards. They're giving us a lot more opportunities. They say 4 stars are also now easier to obtain, which will afford more 5-star shards upon duping them. 5 stars be easier to rank up. Yes, so we've already talked about the changes they'll make there. Will tier 5 basic catalysts be available? Now this is important. Yes, they will make tier 5 basic catalysts available before 6-star characters are playable. Okay. Yes, we don't have a specific date, yes, but we'll sure update. Okay, I think I saw that in the other one. But they did say, yes, they will be out before 6-star characters are playable. So you can have an opportunity to max out your 5-star characters before the 6 stars hit. Will you be changing the 5-star rank up recipe? Yes, that's kind of redundant from above. We've already talked about it. We'll be reducing the shards required to open 5-star crystals. No, they will not be. 5-star crystals will still be a basic crystal for 10,000 shards. But they do have plans to make 5-star shards more accessible. So it sounds like they have even more plans to make 5-star shards more accessible. So I'm excited about that. Will there be a max Sig crystal for duping a Sig 200 5-star? That's a very, very good question. They said not yet, but they're thinking about the possibility of it. So this is what happens when you have a maxed out 4-star character and you pull a dupe of them. You get a max Sig crystal of 4-star, 3-star, or 2-star. Oh, I'm so tired. It's so late. So you get those for those other ones, which give you that chance at getting an immortal Iron Fist of whatever the appropriate tier is, 3, 4-star, 2-star, whatever. So it sounds like they're going to do something like that in the future for the 5-star. Not sure what it is, but we'll see. Might be kind of interesting. Will 6-star champions be in Act 5, Chapter 3? There you go. So no, there will not be 6-star characters in Act 5, Chapter 3. There it's confirmed in the forum, the official notes. Okay. Does this mean we may eventually see older champions such as Wolverine or Scarlet Witch available as 5 stars? We still don't currently have any plans to release some of our older champions as 5 stars, but this may change in the future. So we'll see how that goes. We'll just see where that one takes us. And then they go on to just to say, we expect there's going to be a ton of questions. We're giving you a lot of advance notice, but please, be aware we're committed to share more information, and you know, they expect us to be a good community and give them feedback and ask questions and offer suggestions. So that's how we're going to end up with a really kick-ass game. We just got to all work together along with the developers, and it's going to be awesome for a long time to play. So that's the gist of the updates. So one other thing I want to cover is now okay, so the last point is, what does this mean for MCOC? I think we talked a lot about that, about the different progression considerations that are going to need to be made in order to, to not punish players for the current level that they're at, to make sure that their rewards don't go down just because of they are where they are at. I think we need to make sure that in all modes there's an opportunity to either stay where you are as far as your rewards go, and in the various modes that you do. So keep the difficulty at the level it is for 4 and 5 star character roster summoners. Oh. But I think you need to make it a way that they can either stay here or move up if they so choose to put in the extra effort and seek out, growing that 5-star roster or the 6-star roster as well. So that's something that I think they need to consider. So what should I do with 3-star and 4-star champions? There's a lot of discussion around, both in my alliance and all over the forums and stuff. People are kind of freaking out and saying, oh, this is great, now 4-star characters are going to be worthless. I think we already touched on this a little bit. They're not going to be worthless. I don't think so. But it does feel like it's going to be a bit of a step back in a relative thinking way. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that when they introduced when all there was, up to 4-star characters, at one point, and you had 3-star characters. 3-star characters are what currently is what we consider 4-star characters. If you had maxed out ones, you could cover all the content that was there in the game. You need a lot of skill and you'd have to stretch, but you could do it. But then you had the 4-stars, which made it even better. Well, once they added the 5-star characters, I'm sure, now the 3-star characters are kind of, whatever, use them for arena. That's it. You don't really use them for anything else other than just kind of filling up your trophy case, of champions that you have. So then 4-stars kind of took the role of that, and the 5-stars became the premium ones, if you will, that just are so overpowered that you can just completely obliterate stuff. So now the fear is adding in the 6-star characters, and then with the push towards making 5-star characters far more available and 4-star characters even more available than that, is that now, does that mean the same progression for the 4-star? Now is the 4-star going to be like the 3-stars, which are just now trophies collecting dust on your shelf in your collection? I'm a little bit afraid of that happening, but again, I hope that what they do is they just leave the difficulty where they are, because I don't feel like they should mess with this for people who are progressing and starting new. I think that they need to be able to go through that, because if you all remember, there was a point in time where you were working hard to just get, a team of maxed out 3-star characters so that you could get, through Act 3 or whatever it is you were working on. And then the next step was, I gotta get 4-star characters now, and then you start building those up and duping them, and you stop worrying about the 3-star characters. It's the natural progression of the game. So I don't think we need to look at it so much as a degression as we need to look at and hope that things are put in place in the game that are going to make it leap forward from here. So I think 4-stars will definitely very much still be valid for all the existing content that is there and where it is. I think moving forward, you're going to see a lot more harder content added that is going to really be geared towards having 5-star characters, where you still have to stretch on your skill set, but you really need a decent 5-star character in order to accomplish it. I think it's going to be a long time before we see anything that you absolutely need 6-star characters for, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll go beyond what's already in the like Labyrinth of Legends. So we'll see how it goes. But I still recommend that you don't sell any of them. I'm not gonna. A lot of people are talking about, well, I'm just gonna sell all my 4-stars. Definitely gonna sell all my 3-stars now because why do I need those? 2 stars, forget those. I still think that you should keep 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, definitely. Because every time you're duping them, you're getting very significant amounts of shards, and you're also getting significant amount of ISO. Okay, that's really important to remember. You're getting lots of class ISO, which really helps you rank up those characters. Okay, I'm a firm believer in this. Don't sell your champions. You don't necessarily need to upgrade them now. Like, I don't know that I will now upgrade any of my 3-star characters unless like it's just one I really like or want to test out. Maybe I'll upgrade them, but I really doubt it. I'm not going to pour resources into 3-star characters, especially when I'm assuming I'm going to need even more gold, exponentially more gold and ISO in order to rank up the 6-star characters that I have. I mean, I know 5 stars are insane as it is. I can't imagine the progression of 6 stars. And on that note, Kabam, I really also think that we need to bring in some form of acquiring better resources for gold. I think you need to take the Halls of Fortune and maybe make it, I don't know, a 3-day reoccurring event where you have normal, heroic, and master difficulties like we usually do, and just make it on a 3-day cycle like we did the Rocket Raccoon Scrapyard quests. So if you finish all of them in day 1, you just have to wait 2 days before you can do it again. But it gives everybody an opportunity to farm some gold, okay? Because we start talking about these things, and unless you're going to start changing the amount of gold needed to do the upgrading and leveling of 5-star, 4-star, and even 6-star characters, I mean, it's really insane. I mean, you're going to be sitting there holding on to all this ISO in order to try to have enough to make a significant dent in the rank up, and it's going to expire before you can even build up enough resources of gold in catalysts in order to use it. So I think that's going to be a problem, an issue that's going to need to be addressed and realistically looked at and solved, much like the tier 4 basic catalyst shortage was a very big issue, and they found creative ways to give various opportunities to acquire those. Now with the tier 4 class catalysts, they're doing the same thing. It's slowly progressing towards moving that to better availability and other ways you can get those. I think the next logical progression in that is going to be gold. I mean, it's just the way I see it. It looks like you're going to need gold, a lot of it, if this is scaling the same way, which is like on an exponential scale. And the Halls of Fortune / Gold Realm, that's a fantastic quest. You guys did a great job with that. We just need to bring it around more often, more regularly than just we done screwed up kind of a quest. We're sorry, so we'll give you this for now. Let's make it something regular. Let's appreciate your summoners. Let's appreciate your player base, and we'll be excited about this new edition of 6 stars if we have a clear and good, well laid out path of how to get there. Albeit that path needs to be challenging. We're gonna need to work for it. I get that, and it's not gonna be easy, but there needs to be a path, not parts of a path. Okay, so that's my hope. That's my wish list. If you like this video, please let me know. Sorry for the slight technical interruptions and the occasional yawns. I think it's time to go get some sleep. But yeah, if you like the video, please hit a like, subscribe, share with friends, share with Alliance members. Really putting a push on here to try to get my subscriber numbers up and get those views up so that we can get to some higher tiers in the YouTube channel and accomplish some goals. I'd like to do this a little bit more full time. I enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too. So thanks for sticking around, listening. Please leave some comments below. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on the 6 stars and all of these points that we had, and what you think about the ideas I had as far as arena goes and event quests and whatnot, and the progression things that I've mentioned to look at for the future. Leave your comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. And so anyhow, yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Take care, and see you guys later.